How I deal with injuries so that I can return to the sport, whether it's athletics like basketball or football or bodybuilding, weight training, so I can return back to my activity as soon as possible, right? And so because this channel is mostly body transformation, we're gonna stay in that lane. And I've done it all. I've played basketball, football. I've torn my ACL. I've torn ligaments. I've torn things in my body that I've never got checked out. I've broken fingers, so like this thumb is broken, which like affects everything up here. I have pulled muscles. I have had a lot of injuries, and it's just like the nature of the beast, right? It just comes with the territory, especially if we're performing at a high level in whatever that we're doing. And so I used to, sit on the sideline for a while and not do anything, try to let it heal that way. And while that is important during the onset of the injury, so like immediately when it happens, maybe to ice or to put some heat and to let it rest for a while. But what I've learned over time, because that method, it never really got me better, like quickly. So the new method that I've been using to get me better quickly is rest for a little bit, right? If I roll my ankle, which I do in basketball, or my most recent injury, I was lunging. I had like 70-pound dumbbells in my hand. I was lunging, and I like pulled my hamstring / abductor like right by my groin, and it was like snap, 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 and I was like, that's not good. Dropped the weights, and I was injured, and it hurt really bad to like stand up, go into the lunge position, to do an RDL. And I was like, damn, I'm going to be out for at least 2 weeks. And this was literally, as I'm making this video, this was like a couple of days ago. And I was like, I'm going to be out for 2 weeks. Hopefully it's not that bad. And then I'm like, well, let's start the process. Immediately rest and recover. If based on the severity of the injury, just chill, right? Just let us chill. Maybe move around a little bit, put a little bit of motion into it, right? Kind of stretch it, but kind of just relax a little bit, right? So I was going to do that for the first 24 hours. Like I said, I was moving it and stretching it, but I wasn't trying to use it by any means. I wasn't lifting weights. I was just stretching it, taking it through a range of motion where I felt pain and kind of just like working it through that, especially with like a pulled muscle, right? And so it's going to be a little bit different based on the injury, but if it's the pulled muscle, I was like just moving it, working it, trying to keep the blood flow there so that it didn't tighten up and get worse. And then, lo and behold, the next day I was like fine, right? So I did that all night. I like recovered, I chilled for a little bit. I didn't play basketball, I didn't do anything crazy. I just sat there and I was moving around. And that's like the biggest point to this video, because I used to just chill, not do anything, kind of recover, walk around. But I've learned to recover through movement, right? If based on the severity of the injury, you take some time off for sure. But very shortly after that time off, which it shouldn't be super long, you have to start recovering. You have to start putting more blood flow. You have to start using that muscle more, stretching it, putting a little bit of load onto it. And I found that has helped me get back faster versus sitting and doing nothing, letting it heal on itself, right? And that's it, right? So if you're experiencing an injury, if you've pulled a muscle, even like rolled an ankle, like broken bones are a little bit different, right? You might go see your doctor about that. But if I'm pulling a muscle, I'm going to make sure that muscle doesn't tighten up even more. So I'm going to move it as much as I can without causing too much pain. I'm going to move through the motion. I've also thrown my back out 2 times this year in 2024 as a 29-year-old man who works out every single day in a bodybuilding style. It doesn't really stretch a lot. I've thrown my back out twice just by standing up. Like literally standing up and like throwing my back out. Like what the is going on, right? And so instead of just like sitting there and like not moving, the entire day I was trying to move through it, right? So like I said, depending on the severity of the injury is how long I would rest and do nothing. But for these pulled muscles, I was moving through it immediately, moving through the range of motion. Not a lot, right? Because it hurt, but like moving, breathing, stretching. And so if you've injured yourself and you're used to sitting and doing nothing, taking some days off, I'm just going to chill, that only makes the injury worse from my experience. And so it's important that you move through it. Take that injury through a range of motion, stretch, turn. Don't go like, for me, don't go lunging again. Don't go do back exercise. Don't load the muscle and like to the point where you're gonna hurt it again, but like just take it through some passive ranges of motion. Boom, active ranges of motion. And I'm telling you, that has increased my like turnaround time dramatically. Like with this injury, because I've been moving it, and I'm also eating protein, resting, all those other things that are good for recovery. Literally, I thought it was gonna take 2 weeks. It's been like 2 days, and I'm like way better. So move, move, move through the injury, take it through the range of motion, kind of like revisit what hurt it just a little bit, right? Because it's still injured. And I'm telling you, that has improved it dramatically. I know I'm moving a lot in this video, but I want to, like, you know, case in point, show you the real life situation. So that is it. If you get injured, based on the severity, take some time off. But if it's not like requiring you to go to the hospital or anything, move, put some fluid in it, put some motion in it. Even when you're sore, put some motion into it, move your body. That will be more beneficial than sitting and doing nothing. Cool? Thanks for watching. Join the private school community. We're going to dive deeper into these topics. We're going to have live calls. We're going to do one-on-ones. Like, join the community. So link in description. And I've also put the program that I've used for the last 10 years inside of there. As we make new programs, I continue to learn new things. It's a 5-in-1 program. It's got stability, strength, max strength. You got a hypertrophy program. There's like 5 programs in one, and there's also nutrition help where I teach you how to count your macros. There's a links to all the things that I buy. You can get supplements. I got that down in the description too as well. Grab that, holler at me, and I'll see you in the community. Peace.